Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dustin Brevet. I'm the Group Product Manager at Laticrete for membranes, shower systems, and floor heat. And today we're going to take a stroll through liquid applied latex waterproofing, most notably our Hydroban and our Hydroban XP suite of products. So at Laticrete, we are kind of a jack of all trades. We have our liquid applied latex, we have the sheet membrane, we also have the foam board. But when you think about the principal pillars that the company was founded on, it was innovation within latex-based waterproofing products with the launch of 9235 all the way back in 1974, and then the continued evolution with the launch of Hydroban in 2007. We just celebrated its Sweet 16 last year, and then the introduction of Hydroban XP, which is our extreme performance version of Hydroban 2 years ago. So with me on this journey, I have Gilles from our technical services team. He's going to be doing some of the application-based work behind me while I talk through some of the great features and the benefits, the who, whats, wheres, and whys on why you would want to use one of these products on any one of your given installations, or you'd want to sell it to any of your customers. So Gilles is going to get started, and while he does so, take note of the pail that Gilles is using. For our 1 gallon versions of Hydroban and Hydroban XP, we are exploring the use of and launching a 50% consumer recyclable friendly product. We are stewards to the environment as one of the principal pillars that our company is operating against moving forward. We want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to be good stewards for the environment. So with that, coming soon, 1 gallon, 50% consumer recyclable pails of Hydroban. So in addition to the positive story for the environment, the pail also has some user benefit. You see how easy Gilles is able to get into the pail with roller access. When you think about some of the more rounded pails, it can be cumbersome, especially for a DIYer that wants to take on. It's one less thing you have to purchase. Very easy roller application, 9-inch standard rollers. So now that we got that out of the way, we can talk about some of the products. So what Gilles is going to be doing is putting Hydroban on the left side of the wall and Hydroban XP on the right side of the wall. Both of these products, we'll talk about common similarities: roller application, brush application, spray application. If you really want to get crazy with it on the floor, you can trowel it on. You hit it with an 1/8 inch V-notch trowel, then knock it down. That's going to pretty much get you right to the mill thickness every time. Thickness includes 2 coats of 15 to 20 mils. And like I said, that 1/8 inch trowel on the floor will get you pretty much exactly where you want to go. You knock it down and you're good. Rule of thumb, we shot a tip of the day video on this. When applying, if you don't have a thickness gauge, just take a look at the print on either the backer board or the pad print on some of the foam boards. You just want to make sure you give that a good cover. You can't read through it. It doesn't see through. That pretty much guarantees you're in that 15 to 20 range. In addition, all Hydroban, like I said, brushed, roller, and spray applied. About 2 hours for each coat to dry. When you're going to start to see it drying, you'll start to see that activate over the backer board. The color will change. Once you see that color change completely, you know you're in a good enough spot to then go ahead and apply that second coat. So technically, depending on the substrate and some of the environmental conditions, we can get you time the flood test in under 4 hours for both coats of Hydroban. When you think about some of the other features and benefits of it, this has not only waterproofing for ANSI 1810, it's also compliant to ANSI 1812, meaning it provides crack isolation protection. There's no fabric needed when you install either one of these products. So if we were to act as this being the floor-to-wall transition, you would not have to seam it with seam tape and thin set, or you would not have to use extra adhesive and sealant. If you're within that 1/8 inch window, the Hydroban or the Hydroban XP will act as its own crack isolation waterproofing membrane over corners, coves, transitions, and over nail penetrations. So it's one less product or one less extra step in the installation process. Gilles now started with the Hydroban XP. The XP, extreme performance. What does that mean? It has a lower minimum substrate temperature application, meaning you can start applying it over at 35 degrees Fahrenheit. roughly 2 degrees Celsius. And also it is steam shower and steam room rated, right? All of the other features like the 2-hour flood test, the no need for fabric, the no need to treat seams in any other way carries over from Hydroban, except with XP, like I said, lower minimum substrate temperature, and it is steam shower and steam room rated against ANSI E96. So Jill, that spread's pretty easy, right? It's pretty much like rolling on paint.
Basically, it's that. You're rolling on thick paint. Like Dustin mentioned, you want to get a certain millage, about 15 to 20 mil per coat, just so that you can get all the physical characteristics of it, waterproofing and anti-fracture. So you have to make sure that you get both coats at the right thickness. Like he mentioned, if you see the writing or the branding on the boards through the Hydroban, you have not gone thick enough. Another way to tell is that typically you get about 50 square feet per gallon. That's including both coats. So if you're installing Hydroban and you see you're getting 150 square feet per gallon, you're going way too thin. So those are two indications. I'm sorry?
No, you're good.
So those are two indications that can give you a good idea of how much you're putting on the wall. But you can see I'm going really thick, getting a good uniform coat, and a seamless waterproofing membrane.
One other thing, we also do offer these. Contact your local rep. We can get it out to our marketing group. We do have wet thickness gauges. Jill, if you want to show usage with the wet thickness gauge, simply this has different mils on the side. He's going to press it into the wall, and that'll give him a sense of where he's at in that coat. So if he knows to either apply more, take some off, move some more around, that's going to give you a good indication on where you're at coat-wise. So just when you think about all the different applications, we know we have sheet, we sell it, we know we have board. It comes down to, what do you think is easier? Is it applying that thin set in the sheet, or is it applying paint? It's basically the difference between paint and wallpaper. We have the wallpaper solution, but again, waterproofing in this company was founded on liquid applied latex, which is as simple as applying paint. A lot less labor intensive in terms of skill, much easier to train somebody in terms of laying that paint than putting on thin set and then applying the sheet membrane. I mean, I'll ask from the guys in the crowd that install, how many installers do we have in the group? How many installers? Do you guys have a preferred method? I'll just throw it out. Preferred method for waterproofing? What do you guys use? What are you guys using? You guys are using the paint. Is there a specific reason that drew you to that, or what is? Just easy, right? In a lot of instances, is that fair? How many other guys are putting on the paint? We'll call it putting on the paint. Most of you guys, and it really just comes down to ease, right? When you're dealing with Hydroban, is the ease of application, but there's also the science behind it, like that crack isolation protection, the waterproofing, the extra heavy Robinson floor rating. There's a lot of different things that are in the paint. There's a lot of different stuff that's in the sauce that allows for that true ease of installation that's going to give you peace of mind, not while you're doing it, but peace of mind that you're also not going to get a call back a week later, a month later, a year later, 10 years later, that there's issues with it, right? There's a common peace of mind, so you're never going to have to go back and redo work. You can't make money over redone work, right? That's lost time, that's lost productivity. It's the tried and true, many years of industry backing that we've had around this that give you that peace of mind. So with that, remind everybody, Hydroban in 1 gallon. We also have it in 5 gallons. And depending on your appetite for it, we do also offer it in 275-gallon totes. As Jill mentioned, about 50 square feet, that's 2 coat coverage, 50 square feet per gallon. So 50 for the 1 gallon, 250 for the 5 gallon. And again, 1810, 1812 protection, no need for fabric, so you don't have to do any of that, extra seam treatment. Is it fair for the installers in the room? Seam treatment or corners or coves where there's buildup is probably the most annoying part of a shower installation or a waterproofing installation, right? With that, very thin, allows you to do it itself. You don't have that extra buildup. You don't have to do any shingling. You don't have to do anything for extra runoff. It's very easy to use for those of you that used it. And for those of you who want to try it, reach out to your local rep. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to get you samples of it, to get you started on it if you're not comfortable with it. So I know we have a little bit of time left over at the end. I'll open it up for any questions, comments. Anybody want to just throw anything out, an experience they had, a question they might have, an issue they might have had, we can look to address it here.
When is this getting released in the buckets and stuff?
All right, so the question is, when is the 1 gallon getting released? Tentative scheduled for the Q4 this year. Tentative. If we can move it up, we'll move it up. If there's any issues, so right now we're in the phase of just making sure that it ships. So we're doing like mock ships. So we'll throw it in the UPS, see if it makes it. We'll ship it via pallet, LTL, FTL, full truck, see if it makes it. Once we go through some of that torture testing, that's what's going to allow for us to go to launch. Anybody else? Any questions, comments? With that, thank you guys very much for sharing a little bit of your coverings time with us. Come by the booth, check out the booth. We have a lot of great things going on, not just waterproofing related, some great things around profiles, some self-leveling. So feel free to check us out. Any one of our guys will answer questions. But again, on behalf of Laticrete, thank you for spending some time with us today. Appreciate it.